working.
Welcome everyone. I'm Mark Manella, host of More Than Money.
Stephen Balance.
And we're glad you're with us today as we talk about everything biblical, everything financial from a biblical point of view.
It kind of works hand in hand.
Everything biblical?
Everything. Well,
I'd like to
that'd
talk
be
about
nice.
everything biblical.
Okay.
Yeah, but since we're doing finances
We're doing
from a
finances.
biblical point of view. And we're glad you're joining us today as we do talk about financial issues from a biblical perspective. So that we can hopefully bring more joy, more peace, more, I don't know, just contentment into your life wherever you are and wherever your walk is with the Lord.
Yeah.
And our hope was when you leave here, you do leave with a little bit more peace, a little bit more joy, and hopefully a little bit more wisdom.
Yeah. But before we get to that, we want you to know that you can get a hold of us.
Oh, absolutely.
If you'd like, we've got a couple of different ways. You can always message us during the week, Facebook. You can email us, contact@mtmministry.com. Guess what? You can text us, 314-384-8438, I believe. And you can text us live during the show, and we'll answer your questions.
Anytime during the show. We like that, actually.
Yeah.
We like that.
Get a hold of us so we can answer your questions.
What's that number again? Because they might not have had a pencil when you just...
Good point. 314-384-8438.
All righty.
So, give us a text.
Oh, and a little more announcement. Starting next week, won't be on Wednesdays anymore. It'll be on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11:30 a.m.
Central Time.
Central Time. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 11:30 a.m. Central Time.
So one of the things that we like to talk about here is BRI, Biblical Responsible Investing. I know that we've talked about a little bit of how it works, you know, kind of all the mechanics and stuff. I don't think that we've talked about why you do it though. Like why you're passionate about it. From what I understand, it's not. Well, it's an arena that's growing, but why do you specifically do it?
The wave is finally forming. You know, people paddled out. You know, if you take the surf type of illustration and paddle out for the last 20 years, a handful of us, and the wave is forming, and many people are coming out to meet that wave now, to be in the industry, to ride that wave back in. And that's good. That's a good thing. But why do I do it? Specifically me, I do it because I really felt called by the Lord that Christians were not being served in the investment arena. Christians were being handed and force-fed secular concepts, secular ideas, and secular products. So God put on my heart one day that I put you here in the Wall Street arena, now represent me here. You know, it's like, so how do I do that? And that's kind of where BRI came from. And the Lord did that with a handful of people all about the same time, you know, including Art Alley, the president of the Timothy Plan, and others. You know, and I guess he needed a common, everyday type person like me to show his power through, because these guys, the other guys, were all bigwigs and powerful people.
So are there different areas that you think it might affect, or, I mean...
Well, yeah, you know, the main reason to do it, actually, there's three different categories of areas where I see the impact of biblical responsible investing. First of all, the investor themselves, their lives, their actual lives, how that's impacted. The companies that we don't or do invest in, the impact there, or the impact on Wall Street. And finally, society as a whole, the impact of society, which is very important for, as a Christian, as an ambassador of Christ, as evangelists, which we're all called to, who believe in Jesus Christ as our Savior.
So I have a couple questions. So you mentioned the investor, first and foremost. So you've had clients or individuals, you know, they'll call up and they'll look for a Christian financial advisor, or, you know, so they always want the Christian part of it. But then when you explain to them your thoughts behind BRI and why the BRI movement is there, they seem to want so much more. Why is that?
That's very exciting to me. I think the first reason is that most true believers, those who have accepted Jesus Christ as their Savior, those who know they're going to heaven because of what Jesus did, not for what they do, those people who love the Lord want to honor and and give him the respect that is due, all honor and glory. Well, you don't leave out your investments if you want to give them all honor and glory. You don't say, well, this part of me, I want to honor you with this. I just want to hang on to and do whatever I want.
Okay.
You know, so when a Christian, a true believer, finds out that they can even make their investments an act of worship, they get excited.
Okay.
It's like, wow, I can honor God in everything I do, including my investments. That's one of the things about it. The other is when they find out that they can actually possibly have an impact in so many other people's lives by just how they invest. Let's bring it close to home.
Okay.
Imagine there's somebody who has an investment in, I don't know, let's go out on a limb, an entertainment company that glorifies and makes immoral lifestyle, sexual immoral activities glamorous.
Okay.
Think that might be a possibility with an entertainment company?
I think I've heard of something like that, yeah.
Okay, so let's say there's a company out there like that, and this father is investing, this man's investing in those. And then years later, his children grow up and adopt that lifestyle because they've been programmed by TV and movies that this is glamorous and good. And now he's got a 13-year-old girl that's got HIV. You see, if he would have known the impact that his investments have by supporting those kind of companies, that his children would have grown, would it been worth the return on investment? Would have been worth it for his children to get a disease or enter into a lifestyle that hurts, that actually damages relationships, makes them more insecure? No. Do you see what I'm saying there?
Yeah.
So the impact on investors alone, first it impacts directly at home, because not only does it impact them, but it impacts their family immediately, because the kids and the people around them see them living their beliefs in full. So they reap the benefits of knowing that they're honoring God as best as possible with what He's given them, honor Him with, the blessings He gives them, and that ripples through. People see that integrity in them. So they have more joy, more peace, all those things we talked about at the beginning of the program. And they're still invested, and they're still making the returns they need for their everyday things, like sending their kids to college, putting a house over their heads, preparing for retirement, all those kind of things as well.
So they're still investments. They don't take away from that.
Right. It doesn't take away. It just repositions them in a way that has a positive impact as an act of worship to God, following through on God's edicts on morals and values, and helping them to align every aspect of themselves with the one true God and His desire for their life. So, it does affect the investor personally and kind of globally at the same time. It's a way of doing ministry without having to do anything but invest.
So, that's I guess kind of how it impacts the investor specifically, but I've still yet to entirely see how it would affect the companies that you invest in. For example, I was reading an article by a pretty popular, Christian, I don't know if I can even say financial advisor, but he's very popular in the Christian arena. You may have gone to one of his, retreats or seminars, and you probably know his name. But in the article, he mentioned that everything, including stocks, they're all kind of secondhand. You're not actually buying
when you buy them in the market.
Yeah, so you're not actually promoting the company. You're not actually helping the company unless you do it maybe locally.
Okay, so I know what you're talking about, and unfortunately, he's totally wrong.
Okay.
I mean, let's take this from the beginning. Just because you buy something, okay, an IPO, initial public offering, that's when a company offers stocks and people buy into it, and that funds the company.
Okay.
After that, it trades on the open market. So this person you're talking about is saying, well, the money's not going to them, so it's not helping them. But that's so untrue. First of all, if the stock is run up because Christians like you and me are buying that stock, then they can issue more stock and get more money. They can borrow more because the value of the company is worth more. They have treasury stock, which increases the value of the company. There's so much it does for the company that you are actually participating in with them, and you're voting for them. You're endorsing them by purchasing it. But you are also participating. Even if none of that were true that I just said, which it is, by the way, you are still participating. When you buy stock, you're becoming an owner in company. Now, Jesus spent time with sinners.
Yeah.
That's why he came to earth. But he didn't invest in their sin. He didn't participate with them in their sin. With the prostitutes, he didn't say, hey, I love you. I hate the sin. Here's $10,000. Let's build another brothel. He said, go and sin no more. He didn't participate in their sin. He spoke the truth in love to them. He cared for them. And as such, he spoke the truth in love. When you buy a stock is short for stock certificate, which is a piece of paper that represents the ownership you have in that company. Therefore, you are now a participant. So if that company creates cures for cancer, cures for diseases, creates ways to help people, you are participating in that, and hopefully participating financially as that company grows because of its great medical devices or drugs or cures or whatever it is. If that company, on the other hand, is using and abusing people, that is causing people to become addicted and their lives be ruined because of addictive products or services, or maybe is harming people physically like abortion, or using people for profit even at the destruction of their own life like pornography or prostitution, then you are participating in that also because you're a part owner. Even though you may be only 1/100 of an owner, you're an owner still the same and therefore a participant. So even though this Christian guru is saying something of that sort that you're not directly funding them, you are participating. What's more important, funding or participating? I think they're both important. So when we take our money and we invest it in companies that at the very least are neutral in how they approach biblical morals and values, meaning that they may not endorse them, but they don't compromise them. When they do that kind of thing, and we put our money behind them, those that actually endorse them or are at least neutral, we are actually funding those companies and participating and voting and saying these companies are important to our society, to our family, our morals, our values, and to God as far as a company goes. When we take the money away from companies that the stocks in companies that compromise Christian values, compromise Christian morals, compromise God's edicts on love, then what we do is we pull the oxygen away from those wildfires of immorality and move it to those companies that do good. You see? So we're no longer endorsing these companies with our stock purchase. We're no longer participating in their ugliness by buying stocks on the open market, and we're no longer participating or funding them in any way, running their stock up or causing it in any way. So we're starving the wildfires of the biblically immoral and bringing it over to those who are doing good. And hopefully that leads us to the third part, and that part is the part where we impact society with our investments. You see, if we're moving the money, the oxygen of business, away from ugliness into brightness and good things, then we're actually helping our society to have more impact in what is happening around the world. For example, what does it cost to run an ad on a Super Bowl? $2 million for a 30-second ad? If that didn't work, people wouldn't do it. So we know the impact of entertainment. We know the impact of all these different companies of their advertising and all these different things. If we're able to move the monies away from those things and move them to companies that are promoting good values, promoting family values, promoting godly values, promoting truth and salvation, then what happens is we start impacting our society for good. And it really does happen. I mean, think about Hitler.
Okay.
He had the most incredible media machine in history at that time. And he convinced whole countries he was a good man. It works.
Okay, yeah.
So we can impact our society for good, for love, for caring, for compassion, for Christ, by investing in the right things and not investing in the bad things.
So I know we're running short on time here, so I have one last question to kind of sum us up.
Oh, but before you do,
do we have a text?
How do I know what's good or bad to invest in?
Oh, that went along with my question. Well, then there you go.
Okay. So it used to be very difficult. Now it's very easy. All you have to do is go out to integrityinvestors.com or morethanmoneyministries.com or evaluator.com.
Yeah.
And any one of these will screen your portfolio for free for you. It is a service that we do and we care to do and we want to do, because the more awake, the more conscious you are, the more impact you can have with your investments. Not just for your family, not just on hurting bad companies and helping good companies, but for society and for the gospel itself. You can do good with your investments. And you know, it's no different than if you just talk to your stockbroker and he did it, and now that the ripple effects happen automatically. How often do you get to do something that automatically does good? I mean,
yeah,
this is like but wait, there's more, you know. That's how great it is. So yeah. Integrity Investors has been screening portfolios for people for free forever. No commitment. They'll do it. They'll send you the information. If you want their investment advice or help from them with your investments, they'll be happy to do it. But otherwise, they'll just send you. They'll actually do a three. They do biblical analysis, they do technical and fundamental analysis, so you can have the whole picture brought together. And then if you want to utilize the services, you call them. If you don't, you just go to your broker or do it yourself. But the whole goal is to empower you to do good in your investments.
Yeah. And if you do want to get a hold of Mark here at Integrity Investors, you can call 314-212-1404. Integrity Investors website as well.
Or if that concerns you, because some people are shy, they don't want to talk directly with, they're afraid of being sold or something, which I understand. The world is full of sharks and things. Call More Than Money Ministries.
Yeah.
Just do it though. Or call Evaluator Services, who is the company that does all the data analytics for the screening.
Yeah.
Just do it though. And feel your heart. Most people know in their heart they want to do it. They're just afraid to, because they don't understand exactly. You'll be treated with respect and love by any of these, and you'll be blessed.
Yeah. I think that sums up our time today.
Great. And hopefully, once you do this, you too will realize that life is
so much more
than money. God bless everyone.